everyone, it's Dream, and welcome to another Tuesdays with Dream. This week I will be talking about Giving Tuesday, and then after that I will be talking about my surgical timeline, having to do with all the cancers that I've had. So, to start off, Giving Tuesday will be this today, the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving, where you are encouraged to donate to various organizations that fund various things, and I would love it if you would, in the spirit of Giving Tuesday, donate to Camp Millennium. It would mean a lot. I I mean, I don't even know what else to say. Just please, please, please donate. If you do go to the Giving Tuesday page or website, it won't directly link you to camp, but you don't need to do it through your organization. You can just give anyway. It is still Giving Tuesday. It is still in the spirit of it. It'll still count. It'll still be just as fulfilling and just as amazing. So thank you. That's all I really had to say about that. But so getting on with the rest, I would like to now talk about all the surgeries I've had, starting from, let me see here. My first surgery was May 16th, 2002, for my neuroblastoma. It was in my spine. I was not even 2 years old yet. I was 22 months old. My birthday is in July. Then in June of 2002, I had another surgery to remove more of the neuroblastoma, but that one was more in my chest. And they also placed a port, which is something that directly is in your chest. I have one right now. It's not the same one, and it has a tube. And I'm not sure you can see it, but the tube you can kind of see and feel. It goes all the way up in here, and anyway, it goes directly into a vein that goes to your heart and pumps everything in. And they use those for kids or anybody who has bad veins, so that when you do go in for treatment, you don't have to worry about them having to find a vein, because it can take a lot of tries, and that's painful and stressful. So it takes all the pain and stress out of it. Unfortunately, when I was a baby, I didn't get to keep my port because it got infected or abscessed or something. Anyway, I didn't have it very long. So I did have to do my treatments when I was younger. I think I had them for like almost a year. Veins every time. So now my veins, they kind of don't exist. Like, there's no way you could find one, which is why I'm very grateful to have a port right now that I've had for over a year and a half, close to 2 years. Love it. It makes having to go through treatment really not stressful at all for me. I'm very grateful. Anyway, moving on. In August of 2002, so yes, I had my port for a month. That's when they took it out. Then I didn't have any more surgeries until 2012, because from about, I want to say 2004 to 2012, I was in a back brace, and I will touch more on that later because I did do that for so long. It was a big part of my childhood, but not for this week. In June 2012, I had my spine fused with rods because I had scoliosis that resulted from my tumor resection when I was a baby. They had to take out like the inside of my spinal cord, and so that made it to where my spine couldn't stay straight. It curved. It was at like an 80 something degree angle by the time they finally fused it. It was crazy. And so I spent from late March, early April, I spent 8 weeks in halo traction, which I don't have my halo with me right now, but I did get to keep it. You can Google it too, but it's like a metal thing that goes mostly around your head. It stops right here, and it sticks out because they screw it in, and you can see that's a scar from where there was a screw. There was a screw there. I've got more under my hair. There were 6 of them, and you're attached to like this pulley system, and they hang weights off the back, and it sounds really scary, and it was really weird. And they have special like wheelchairs and beds and walkers that have the pulleys on them, so you're always being pulled when you bathe, when you sleep, when you go to the bathroom. Always, always, always. And they start you out small with like a pound, and then they add like a pound a day. and the weight pulling on the back, it straightens your spine. It was really weird. I grew like 6 inches within that 8 weeks, and just because that's how curved my spine was, and I think I got up to like almost 50 pounds that was on the back of my head. It was crazy. That was a good experience, though. That might sound weird, but I met a lot of really nice people, and everyone at Shriners is very nice. All the nurses very nice, staff, doctors very nice. And so finally, when the 8 weeks were up, they took me in. I had my halo going into surgery. They they fused my spine with rods and screws, and so that my spine will stay straight now. And so unfortunately, my spine couldn't grow after that, and I was almost 12. I wasn't quite 12 yet. I was turning 12 the month after that, and so yeah, that was a big one. That was one of my biggest surgeries. I was in the hospital for like a week after that, same room and everything. Excuse me. And that was the longest time I had to recover. I spent basically that whole summer on the couch, on laying on my stomach, just because I couldn't move, I couldn't walk. I had a giant bandage. I couldn't shower. It got really gross. And finally, I had to go to like a hair salon to like get my hair washed because I couldn't get my back wet. And so finally, when I did recover from that, I was very happy. So moving on, let me see. After I had my spine fused, a year after that, in April of 2013, I had my colon removed, and that was an experience. First, during a little bit after I had my spine fused, I went to get colonoscopy, and you can look up the symptoms of like why you would need to get a colonoscopy. It's kind of gross. Don't really want to explain it, but I had one, and there were like a few polyps, and they looked okay, but they wanted to do it again, and so like a few months later, I had another one, and then there were just like hundreds of polyps, my whole colon, and they couldn't even like test the biggest ones because there were that many, and so they had to assume that they were cancerous because they found some that was dysplasia, which is like, so cancer has like 4 stages, and then before stage 1 there's dysplasia, and that means that it is on track to become a cancer. And so they just said our best course of option, because we can't remove all the polyps like you would in normal colonoscopy, is just to remove the whole colon. And so they did, and they took out all of it, ascending, descending. I think there's another part of the colon. It's anything that has the word colon in it. If you look at anatomy, it's gone. I don't have it, but I do have a rectum. Thank goodness. They were thinking about taking it out, but they didn't want to because that would cause me a lot of problems. And the thing is, when you take out a colon, I had to have a colostomy bag. I had that for 6 months while I was in 8th grade. And a colostomy bag is basically, it's on your stomach, and it's where you use the restroom. Number 2, I still like did number 1 normally, if you're wondering. But yeah, I had that for 6 months, and it was really scary and really gross at first. And but eventually, I did learn how to like change the bag myself. I learned how to keep it clean. I learned how. Eventually it became kind of nice. I mean, I named her. I named her Lily Ileostomy, and sometimes I kind of miss it because I'm really lazy and I don't like to get up a lot. Just saying. And so, yeah, I had that, and then in October of that same year, I got I got my ileostomy removed, and I got everything reattached. So now I go to the bathroom normally, and the cool thing is, you can trick your small intestines into thinking they're a colon, so your body doesn't even know you don't have one. It's kind of cool like that. There are a lot of things you can do with your body in that sort of sense. And then I started having pain in my side, and my mom thought it was like a sciatic thing, but I kind of knew. I was like, I think it's my kidney. And so we went and we got all these tests done, and no one could figure out what it was. they're like, maybe you've got stones. And my mom was like, well, I don't think she had stones because I've had stones and it wasn't like that. And they're just like, well, we don't see anything. I had all these tests, and then I ended up doing like a kidney function test, and they saw that my right kidney, it wasn't doing anything. It was huge, and it had something called hydronephrosis, which means a lot of fluid was building up around it. And so they're like, this kidney is not working, and essentially it was dead, but they couldn't figure out why it was dead. And so they placed a stent to into the ureter, which is the tube that connects your kidney to your bladder, to try to get the liquid out and to move things, and maybe that would help. But it really didn't. And the stent, I got the stent placed in March of 2015, and it didn't help. The stent was painful. It hurt to go to the bathroom. It wasn't fun. Nothing was working. So then they did more tests, found out the stent wasn't working, found out the kidney was dead. There was nothing that was going to fix it. It was, it was gone. And so in June, it's June, they removed the stent, and then they let that heal. And then in July, they removed the ureter, which is the tube that connects your kidney to your bladder, and my right kidney, because the ureter had cancer in it. And that's when I was diagnosed with transitional cell carcinoma, which I'm the youngest person to ever have it because it usually happens in old people, which happens to me a lot. I get a lot of like colon cancer. You're not supposed to get that until you're like 50 or like a man. And so I kind of wasn't surprised, but it was hard when my mom told me that I had a cancer again that would need treatment, and it wasn't just a one and done fix with a surgery kind of thing. And I started chemo in July, like right before I turned 15. Um, I remember I had to get my port access, my blood drawn on my birthday, and it was kind of like bittersweet, I guess, because everyone at the hospital said like happy birthday and stuff. So that was nice, and I got a present from the nurses. And so I did that treatment until a few days before Halloween. So about 3 months. Wait, right? July, August, September. Okay, 3 or 4 months. 4 months. And right after I finished, I got to go to Florida, and I'll talk more about the Florida trip in another video because I could go on, and it's already, oh my god, it's almost 13 minutes long. This video is really long. See? Um, Maybe I should separate this into parts. And anyway, in February of this year, after I found out that I had biallelic mismatch repair deficiency, which is a genetic disorder that puts me at a predisposition to getting all types of cancers, and at a very young age, which is what explains why I've had so many cancers. They suggested that I get a brain MRI just, for routine purposes, and they found cancer. Luckily, they caught it pretty early, but it was a fast growing one, so I had it removed when it was like stage 3, I think. And so, yes, I had a brain resection. My left frontal lobe, I'm not sure if they took all of it or most of it. They took a lot. That was an interesting surgery. I got a huge scar because of it on my head. It's kind of hard to see because my hair's grown over it. I don't know where it is anymore. I can't really find it. Oh wait, you can sort of see it a little bit. There we go. Like right there. But it goes all the way across. And that surgery was done in March of this year. And in February, they biopsied it. And then in March, they removed it. So yeah, that's my surgeries. Not to mention procedures, which technically aren't surgeries, but you are put under anesthesia for them, like colonoscopies, endoscopies, cystoscopies. Cystoscopy, they go in your urethra and they look in your bladder and kidneys. Endoscopies, they go down your throat and look in your bowels. Colonoscopies, they go up through your bum and look in your colon. So yeah, I've had a lot of those. I think that's 12 surgeries total, and that's it. thank you everybody for watching. I hope this video tickled your fancy. And tune in next week, and I will talk about a day in the life of me without cancer, just what I do as a normal person. So, this is Dream signing off on spreading childhood cancer awareness one Tuesday at a time. Bye.